the methods that we use to calculate the value of closing stock. Whether you are using the periodic inventory system or the perpetual inventory system, you still have to choose which method you're going to use to calculate the value of your closing stock. It's very important that you can't change this method from one financial year to the other financial year, because there is a difference in the expense amount at the end of the day, and therefore you will have a higher or a lower profit in your income statement, which again will have an effect on the tax that you will pay. So you can't just change your method from one year to the other year. So let's have a look at the weighted average and how we will calculate the weighted average. Specific identification I will do later using a specific activity as well. But the weighted average, just in general, how will we go about with the weighted average? So the very first thing that I want you to remember, again, learn this, is when we need to calculate the closing stock, we need to calculate the number of units that we have on the shelf, which will be the units of the opening stock of everything you purchased, of minus everything you returned, minus anything you donated, minus drawings, minus those that were stolen, and minus the sales. So this is quite a logical approach. To calculate the units on the shelf, this is what you will take into account. Not all questions have all of this in them, but this is what you need to know, you need to look for when you want to calculate the number of units that's on the shelf. Then, how do we calculate the average, weighted average amount? We take the opening stock total, and the purchases, in this example, the carriage is included in the purchases, the total. If the carriage is not included in the purchases, or nothing is mentioned about the carriage, then have a look and see if it's written on its own, because then you'll have to include carriage on purchases here, and you've got to add that as well as a total. And then you minus your returns. So this will give you your total that you paid for the stock that you have. Now, this is what you paid, but what is the stock that I have paid this for? I have paid this amount to 10 units for the 40 that I've purchased, and I didn't pay for the 20 that I returned. So I have the units, 30 of them. So you take the total divided by the number of units, and that gives you an average of 933,33 per unit. So this is the average, weighted average price of what you have bought minus what you have returned. So concentrate on the fact that weighted average works with the total and it works with the number of units, but not that's on hand, the number on units that you've bought minus what you've returned.